This is my boyfriend's old iMac G3. It sits in some form of disrepair because I believe the hard drive is done for in it. It's an old original iMac G3, and at some point I'll have to take it apart. But in the meanwhile, I bought myself another PowerPC Mac. This is an iBook G3. This is a very late revision. This is one of the 2003 models where they just gave it an 800 megahertz PowerPC G3 or 750FX CPU more specifically. And then you gotta get an 800 megahertz flavors or 900 megahertz flavors. The 900 megahertz models have a DVD-ROM drive. This one does not, unfortunately, because this is an 800 megahertz model. I'm going to start by turning it on because this machine takes a little bit of time to boot. Either the hard drive's failing or there's something wrong with the way the bootloader works on this laptop, but it's a little funny. We'll see if we have to circumvent that, but I did turn it on recently, so I might not have to. That's not particularly good, and I can see my camera is having a lot of trouble trying to focus. There we go. That's a lot better. I will actually pull this in. I'm probably going to have to restart this. There we go. That's better. But I should talk a little bit more about this laptop in of itself. As I said, it's a 800 megahertz PowerPC 750 processor in here with a CD-ROM drive, 384 megabytes of RAM, which I believe was upgraded at some point, and a 30 gigabyte hard drive. Yep, I'm going to have to reboot. Hold the Option key. This laptop actually works mostly fine. You might notice that the screen isn't in perfect shape, but one, the screen works, which is always a good sign. And two, if I pull it back, I'll have to show you, or more accurately, if I just turn it around. The Apple logo actually works too, so the backlight is not failing on this. Apparently it's a common issue on these. Thankfully this laptop is not suffering from that. The battery also works perfectly fine in here, which I'm genuinely surprised by. Let's get this refocused. Let's pull this in again. This is why I don't like shooting these in one take, because there's a lot of preparation that I don't really do. And I can tell the hard drive's having a fun time. I'm going to have to replace that because it seems like it keeps doing this to me. Like it's kind of failing, but eventually it'll just work. And it'll work just fine. I'll need to see what the problem is in particular with that. Yeah, it's just taking a while. It's going to take a while, unfortunately. And I'll just admit that I don't have that much to run on here. Refresh. Am I going to have to turn this on and off again? Probably. I guess I'll talk a little bit more about the history of the iBook. I'm sure y'all probably know it, but I'll go over it anyways just to kill some time. So Apple wanted to replace, well, more accurately, Apple wanted a consumer laptop. They had been doing a lot of business laptops under the PowerBook line for years, but they decided they wanted in on the consumer laptop line. So instead of doing something more traditional like the PowerBooks, they instead opted to do something rather wild, rather radical. Like the iBook G3, they took cues from that and made essentially a clamshell-looking laptop that was named the iBook. You could get it in a few different colors, and those are very valuable nowadays. In 2001, they updated the iBook to more of this type of shell. More plain, arguably less interesting, but certainly I'd say classier than those iBooks. I think these have held up pretty good in terms of overall design. Apple certainly thought so, because that's how we ended up with the iBook G4 looking pretty much like this. So yeah, in 2001, Apple had introduced this body style. In late 2002, they updated the logo on the iBooks to something more like this, and that carried over for the 2003 revision and the iBook G4 itself, all the way until iBook eventually faded away in favor of the MacBook. And yeah, this hard drive's taken a long time to want to initialize today. It was working earlier. Ah, please don't tell me it's not working anymore. It was working like an hour ago. What? Oh. This takes a long time to detect any hard drives or disks. I won't really be able to do too much if I can't actually get into the OS. This hard drive may have given up the ghost. I guess we'll try one more time. Oh yeah, I should comment a couple of things with this laptop. I don't like this display at all. It is terrible, even for a laptop from 2003. I have an older laptop, a Sony Vaio, with a much nicer screen than this, and it's still a 1024 by 768 display at 60 Hertz. Just that this one is particularly crappy, and I guess it's not going to work. And the keyboard itself, I don't hate it. It sounds alright. The typing is a little bit mushy, but I mean, I've used worse, to be completely honest. It's fine enough. My main gripe has to come down to the way you have to eject CDs on this. Apple didn't want you to eject them the normal way, which would have been pressing a button on the side. Instead, you have to do it through software. Yeah, and it can be pretty annoying when you're waiting on either the bootloader or macOS itself to let you eject the drive. At least there's a little pinhole that you can stick like a pin or a paper clip through to actually eject the disk. But still, quite annoying. And taking this apart's not going to be a fun endeavor to replace the hard drive. I guess if I do that, I might as well just get an SSD for this and the iMac G3. That's going to be a fun project, but I guess this doesn't want to cooperate today. It had been acting funny earlier, and I see it's still acting funny. We'll just focus on that. It's trying. It's trying its best, but it's not doing very good. Something's trying to spin. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me get my mic off real quick. Oh my god! It actually booted. Well, I guess third time's the charm. Let's get this closer then. No, I don't like that at all. I need something a little bit taller than that. Come on, I don't want autofocus. That's just gonna throw it off whack. And as we wait for it to load, I should actually explain what OSs I have on here. I have macOS 10.2.4 Jaguar and macOS 9.2.2. These would have been the original operating systems this laptop would have shipped with. I found the restore disks online, and I decided to just see if that would help this laptop a bit with its iffy bootloader. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but at least I can say I have Jaguar on here, and I can upgrade a Panther or Tiger if I want to. Although Tiger is going to be kind of annoying to upgrade because most of the ISOs you can find online are for the DVD version of it. Obviously, that's a problem for this laptop. Oh, it's struggling. Although, I think once it gets to the actual macOS boot screen, it should be in much better shape. Hopefully it will. Oh man, that hard drive sounds brutal. I'll put my mic up there again. It sounds like it's electrocuting itself. Yeah, I suspect this hard drive's on its way out. I think I mentioned it was acting funny earlier. So I had it in sleep mode for a few days. I opened it up, and when I open it up, I try to check the battery life on it. It wouldn't respond to that. Then I tried opening up the system preferences, and then it wouldn't respond to that either. And then about a minute later, I couldn't even move the mouse cursor, so it just crashed. Other than kernel panic, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's taking forever to boot. This is just like the iMac. I might have to can this. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out the way I want it to. So I'll have to make a part 2 of this at some point after I do everything over. So I guess thank you for watching.